Hello, I'm Dwayne Groom. Welcome to one of the most rewarding and challenging real estate sales programs in North America. After years of teaching real estate agents how to be accountable to their careers, I have put together a program that will lead you to love what you do while increasing your income over 200%. Now, brokers and managers across the country agree that this is one of the most challenging programs out there and that all agents should learn how to make more money and enjoy what they do. With 10% of the agents making 90% of the income, it goes to show just how tough the real estate industry really is. My goal is to show you how to be accountable to your career, and if you just put in the effort with a never quit attitude, you will see results. Working together week after week will not only increase your income, but it will also create some great habits so that when you graduate from this program, your focus will remain on income-producing activities. New agents will find the ingredients they need to start a successful career, and agents that have been in the business for a few years will not only learn to increase their income, but also how to get out of a slump. And veteran agents will learn how to generate their income in half the time. From this point on, I would like to refer to you as a top producer. I believe that mindset is the key, especially in the beginning of your success. Consciousness is simply observing your thoughts and actions so that you can be the best you can be in every moment. So let's get started. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to sound like I'm trying to talk you out of this program. The reason is that this productivity challenge is not a social visit. It is a results-oriented sales program, and I need to know who's ready to make some money. So if you are as committed as our past students, you will learn how to master 8 areas so that you can make more money in less time and have more fun. So take a pen and write these 8 areas down. Number 1, attitude. Number 2, appointments. Number 3, generating leads. Number 4, presentations. 5, price and net. 6, objection handling techniques. 7, business operations. And finally, 8, time management. Now, I honestly believe that I cannot teach you how to sell houses because houses sell houses. Realtors just mess up deals. Sorry. The average agent shows 20 properties before they write an offer, while our students on average show 4 or 5, which means, again, that you can make more money in less time and have a lot of fun. So now that you're in the program, we will need to set some goals. And my goal over the next few months is to help you to be productive. In fact, I would like to be a part of your team. The average in our program is 1 transaction per week. Now that's a listing or a sale. So if you take your pen again and figure out what the average deal is worth in your marketplace and multiply it by 8 weeks, you will find out how much you will make. That's not including the listings that you acquire in the program that will sell after you graduate. I hope that motivates you because now we have to talk about the accountability and commitment you need to be successful in this program. At lesson 1, you would have filled out a program commitment letter and handed it in to your team captain. We would have placed you on a team and helped you to get organized for the coming weeks. Keeping track of our production is very important, so we went over a couple of pages that we will use. 1 is the weekly report, which needs to be filled out and handed in no later than 9:30 a.m. to your assistant team captain the day of each lesson. And the other one is your program production page to keep track of all these transactions throughout the program. It is very important that you do that. The reason it is very important is not only to find out what kind of production you've done, but at the end of the program, we do have awards and certificates that are handed out as a way to recognize the efforts that you put into the program. So this is the administration part of the first day. I go over it again in this taping just to show you how important commitment and accountability is to your career. Without this, I believe that your income would suffer greatly. So let's get into lesson 1. First thing I want to go over in lesson 1 here are the 8 keys to success. The first one is attitude. That's where you want to give yourself a checkup from the neck up, especially every day. But the first lesson is a lot about attitude. We want to motivate you, and we also want to put you in a situation where we remove the option to fail. The second one is appointments. You notice I said appointments. We want to make sure that we show you how to book more than 1 appointment with sellers and buyers. Number 3, leads. We want to show you how to generate some leads. Actually, we want to show you how to market yourself so that we get the phone to ring. We wouldn't want you to be a secret agent now, would you? Now, cold calling is kind of like the day of the past And if we can get your phone to ring and we can bring business to you, that would be the best thing we could do. Number 4 is presentations. We have presentations we want to work on. These are the 8 keys to success again. And the presentations for number 4 will get you to put together a listing presentation and a buyer presentation, as well as a pre-listing presentation so you could sell yourself in advance. Number 5, price and specifically net. Show you how to present price. Show you how you could sit down with the sellers and say, here, let me show you how most successful sellers pick the right price. I sure like that phrase. Number 6, objection handling techniques. We have a system so that we can show you how to convert a stall into an objection, a process that sometimes handles the objections on its own, and objection handling techniques so you can actually educate the seller so they can make a decision based on facts. For example, what are some of the objections you get hit with, or maybe concerns of the sellers? Well, you have commissions, you have interviewing other agents, maybe they're considering selling privately to try and save some money. We'll go into all of that for you. Number 7, business operations. We're going to get into how you build your business, manage your inventory, build a team possibly, and even the finances. And number 8 is time management, which is your most valuable commodity. High income producing activities is the key. So let me say them all at once real quick. 8 keys to success. Number 1, attitude. Number 2, appointments. Number 3, leads. Number 4, presentations. Number 5, price. Number 6, OHTs, or objection handling techniques. Number 7, business operations. And number 8, time management. So let's get into the first key to success, which is attitude. We have a couple of things we want to start working on here. The first, we want to make sure that you're aware of a few things. So I have 5 awarenesses here. The first thing is that listings are the way to the top. We need to master this. That will never change. The second thing, if it is to be, it is up to me. Absolutely. The third thing is the awareness of being in control of your career. How many times you've had somebody ask you for a free CMA that didn't even want to sell? Let's make sure we're doing high income producing activities, shall we? Number 4, no one will take advantage of me anymore. Don't let anyone slap you around. You are the top of the food chain in the real estate industry. So, one of the other things you need to watch out for is when you leave the class today, you're going to run into some people that focus on can'ts instead of cans. Let's focus on the cans, not the cannots. And number 5, I will take this listing if I choose. What a great awareness, walking into a listing instead of sitting there going, oh, please, I need this listing so bad. Now, for us to become really motivated about our career, one of the things we went over here in Lesson 1 today, after the awarenesses, was to have a goal and a reward for yourself. It needs to be specific. I had an acronym that I brought up on the screen there. It said SMART goals. And SMART stands for this. S meaning specific. Be laser beam specific. Exactly what would motivate you. A great reward for you, because you're going to be doing all the work. M is for measurable. How many listings do I need over the next 8 weeks? A, attainable. Make it realistic, but a little bit of a stretch. R for reward. Reward yourself. It could be the little things. I don't know what really would excite you. Maybe it's a trip. Maybe it's a car. Maybe it's renovating your home. And T would be for track results, because you need to know where you're going. In fact, SMART goals equals energy. So as part of your assignment, what we want to do is get you to figure out what a goal would be to excite you. Let's pretend it's a holiday. Maybe it's a 2 weeks in Hawaii. And what I'd like you to do is at the end of today's lesson is go to a travel agency and get a brochure, or go online and print off a brochure of some sort. So you have a picture of it, and put yourself in the picture, and take a full piece of paper, and 60% of that paper, put down that picture. And on the bottom, I want you to write that you are committed to your success. Or just write this: I am committed to my success. In there, we need to put a specific date. So whatever graduation date you have with our program, a couple of days later, or maybe within a week or two, you have a specific date where you're going to be hopping on a plane and heading out on this trip. Also, what I'd like you to do is put the number of listings that you need to be able to go on this trip or have this reward. Now, how do you count that? What you would have to do is figure out how much income you need for your home or for yourselves over the next 2 months, as well as how much you need to go on the trip. Also, we have to think of our future. We should always be putting money away for that. So you know what? The trip might be one deal, and you might need one deal a month to be able to get by, and you should always put away one deal, let's say, for your future. So we're at 4, maybe 5 sales. Now, not all listings sell, so maybe we have to make it 7 listings to be able to get 5 sales. But we want to make it a little bit of a stretch as well, right? So maybe it's 8. So we've got an 8-week program. Maybe we need 8 listings over the 8 weeks. That's 1 a week. So you write that down. Now, don't shrink down your goals by taking this paper and making it small. Leave it full size. I want you to laminate it, and I want you to bring it to class. And remember this. You don't have to do more than you said, just never less. So the question is this: how long are you committed for? Is it for the 8 weeks? Forever? Personally, I don't think so. I used to say that I'd commit for the duration, but I don't say that anymore. Go ahead and ask me why. The reason is because I'm married. And like anything else in life, sometimes you have to recommit and recommit. Okay, let's talk about the real estate success formula. See, each week work, by the way, if I stopped you right there, it would increase your production by 70%, right? But let's continue on here. Each week, work at bringing in a saleable listing each week. How do we do that? Well, I'm going to show you how to book a minimum of 3 listing appointments a week. And if you take your pen again and you write down that you're going to be committed to working so many weeks a year, and you're going to go on 3 listing appointments a week, and let's say you just get 1 out of 3, the next thing you know, you've got a lot of listings throughout the year. In fact, if we're only half right, and you were only to book or actually list 25 houses a year times $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 or $7,000, whatever it is in your marketplace, and you include double ending some properties, you include sign calls, you include buyers, which by the way just fall in your lap when you list properties, you're going to make a tremendous amount of money in this business. So number 1 is bring in a saleable listing each week. Number 2, separate the lookers from the buyers. How do we separate a looker from the buyer? Well, there's 3 categories that we need to focus on. Number 1, we have to make sure they have some money. Now, I know that you can get financing now with 0 down, but think about this. There's millions and millions of people in this country, and we're going to work with the one person that has no money? I don't think so. Why don't we do this? Why don't we get the mortgage broker to qualify the people that are going for 0 down, and let's move on. So let's make sure they have some money. Let's make sure they're motivated. Let's make sure that there's some urgency. That's how we separate the lookers from the buyers. And you can ask them this too. If you're with a buyer, you can ask them, if we find the right home today, are you ready to buy it today? If they say no and they're qualified, we need to know why. Maybe somebody needs to show dad. Okay, so you take them out and you show them properties one night, and you show them another night. And it's time to see if they want to move on something. They say, well, we need to show dad. Problem is, dad wants to protect family. And when dad just sees the one and can't see what they were comparing it to, and he sees prices in today's market, he's going to say, I don't think so. So remember to bring dad along. That's just one example. Number 3, always use buyer's listing exclusive. Make sure. Number 4, show and sell your own listings. It would make sense. You said you would try to sell the property. You may as well try and fit them in. I wouldn't show property that they're not interested in, but something close, you could make twice the money in half the time. So here's the success formula again. I'm just going to say it all at once. Number 1, bring in a saleable listing each week. Number 2, separate the lookers from the buyers. Number 3, always use buyer's listing exclusive. That's a contract or an agreement. Number 4, show and sell your own listings. That's the real estate success formula. The next part I want to work on is your attitude tips. First thing we need to be aware of is that success in real estate is like math. So we need to add your positives, subtract your negatives, multiply your efforts, and divide your personal time from your business time. Very important. Number 2, adversity in your career must breed success. In fact, right now, I'd like you to have a never quit attitude. Okay? And if you don't like your environment, let's just look at it this way. There's 3 different things we could do. First, you could leave that environment. Second, you could live with it. Or third, you could change it. Number 3 on attitude tips is admit it's your choice. Success is our choice. Do you want success? Make it your choice. Number 4, brighten up your work environment. All of us need to have an office. In fact, we need to be very professional by keeping the files for our clients in an office. It should be locked even. It doesn't matter if that office is at home or if it's at the real estate office. And what I mean by brighten up your work environment is, some of us, we go into our office, there's nothing on the walls, there's no flowers, there's the furniture isn't good, there isn't pictures of your family. You need to be able to go into your office and feel really good about that. So brighten up your work environment. Number 5, watch for detours. For example, other businesses. And I don't want to say what businesses you should or shouldn't be involved in. All I can say is this, is real estate has made more people rich than any other business. And if you got another business that's distracting you, you need to delegate. So if it's a restaurant you own, make sure you have a manager running the show for you. In fact, that's what's great about, let's say, franchises, for example. Somebody else can run the whole thing. It's all built to be able to run on its own almost. And you can get back working on your real estate career. Number 6, don't let negative coworkers get you down. You know what? There's 3 kinds of realtors out there. There's the first type, which I believe is you. You're the one that makes things happen. Then there's the other type that just watch things happen. And then there's the third type, which you got to watch out for, is they go, what the heck just happened? Number 7, notice patterns of behavior. So let's eliminate negative behavior and focus on positive behavior. And number 8, ask yourself what you want and insist on it. A never quit attitude, right? So here, we want to recommit daily to your goals. Remember I told you about that before? I'm married. You need to sit down and recommit every single day so that you're motivated and separate your personal time from your business time. As a side note, make a note of this. In sales, we get paid to solve people's problems. Now, I'd like to take a moment just to read something to you from Nelson Mandela's inaugural speech back in 1994. And it goes like this. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are we not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightening about shrinking so that other people won't feel unsure around you. We were born to make manifest the glory that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it is in everyone. As we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Let me take a few minutes to go over the role-playing process. See, first thing I like to do is to teach you what you need to use to be successful. Then I like to show you. Then I like to get into a group, either with 2 of you or 4 of you, and actually role-play with each other. Now, some of you might say, I don't really care for role-playing, but that's okay. The best place to work at it is with your peers and get better and better so that when you go in your appointment, you're better and better. So the role-playing process goes like this. If you were in groups of 4, there would be a realtor, there would be a critique person, and there would be Mr. and Mrs. Seller. And the realtor, after they've taken the notes and we've showed you how to do the process, you would start to do, let's say, the listing presentation. The critique person would listen. Now, sellers, I don't want you to be the sellers from HE double hockey sticks, if you know what I mean. What I want you to do is just kind of role-play along to something normal here. So the critique person will be listening, and if the real estate agent makes a mistake or gets off track, the first thing I want the critique person is to stop them. Then take a moment to give them some honest criticism. In other words, critique them so that they get back on track and get them to start again. Now remember this, something Zig Ziglar said, which I thought is just awesome. He says, the elevator to success is out of order. So we must take it one step at a time. So in the program, we have a few critique pages. There's one you would have seen today, and if we had time, we would have role-played a little bit. In the back, in our back section there's going to be some extra ones. And what we've done in there is we want to make sure that the critique person can rate the real estate agent. Number 5 being excellent, 4 being good, 3 being on average, 2 maybe needs some work, and 1 kind of poor. So there's going to be different times that you're going to be able to try this. And we're going to be looking at dialogue and use of names, very important. People love to hear their names. Make sure you use the right facial expressions and voice inflections. One of the things I like to bring up lots in my classes is that people will have a pit bull look. They don't even realize it. They're just thinking and their forehead's all crunched up. And the sellers are looking at them thinking, I wonder what's wrong. And sometimes we literally have to notify our face so that people don't think something's wrong. In fact, I'd rather look at it like the puppy dog look. At least it's more approachable, wouldn't you agree? Use of visuals and use of questions is another big part of critiquing. Throughout the program, there'll be different times when we'll be actually doing the role-playing so that you can learn how to master the listing appointment process, the buyer listing appointment process, how to present price, and many other processes that are very important to your career. Question here, just to go off just a bit into a different direction. I want to ask you something. Why did you get into real estate? What's the main reason you did? Now, I know we all want to help people. I know that. But you probably got into real estate because you wanted to make some money or get into it to have an incredible career. So if you take a second and you write down a $, we're thinking, okay, we got into this career so we can make some money. Now, what has to happen for us to make some money? Obviously, a deal has to close. For a deal to close, we'll make some money. What's the best thing to close for you to be effective with time management? Probably one of your listings. So the question now is, how do we get listings? Well, as I said earlier, we need to book appointments. How many? A minimum of 3 a week is what I'm trying to get to do. So how do we book appointments? So we've got prospecting. We've got about 10 different ways to generate leads in this program, but it really comes down to this. Right on the flip chart, you'll see this in my class many times. It'll just say TTP, which means talk to people. Don't be a secret agent. Get out there and talk to people. And there's a direct correlation between talking to people and making some money. In fact, if I was just to break it down into the simplest of simplest forms, I would say to you, you know what? If you would just go out every day and commit to talking to, let's say, a minimum of 5 people a day about real estate. And let me take it a little further. Have an actual real estate conversation. Not worrying about the results. Just saying, okay, somebody here is interested in buying or selling either now or in the near future, and you're having a conversation, and you just focus on a minimum of 5 a day. When you do the math, I'll just tell you, and I'll show you this in the program, that it's about $100,000 a year. It's probably double that, to be honest with you. Talk to people, talk to people, talk to people. So now that we've established that, basically it comes down to talk to people is a direct correlation with making money. I want to go over a little bit of a process here, how to be proactive in your career. And the reason I start with that is this. There are some new people in my program, and they need to learn how to make some now money. Now, there are some people in the program that are here because they know they need to start making some money. I can show you how to do that. So write this down. First thing we need to understand is that being proactive in our career sometimes means we have to pick up the phone and probably make some calls. Now, I can assure you this is not a cold call program. In fact, I want to start focusing almost immediately on marketing yourself so that, like I said, you're not a secret agent and people start calling you. I believe the best way to do business is for them to come to you. So before we do that, I just want to make sure that you understand how to master the phone. So if you choose to make some now money, you could maybe call some of the neighbors to one of your listings. If you don't have a listing, maybe you could call around a listing from your office. And what you would do is you would call and you would ID the caller. So I'm not sure how you're going to get the reverse directory to work for you. You maybe check with your broker, see how you get a prospecting list, and you call someone and you say, "Hello, Mr. Smith. Yes, this is Dwayne Groom with ABC Realty. I was just calling to see if you want to sell your home." And by the way, they almost always say, what? No. And if you get a no, that's fine. Just move into the reason. The reason I'm calling you is we just listed a property across the street. Would you consider selling if you got the right price? By the way, it just seems like when you mention for the right price that a higher percentage of people say, well, yeah, for the right price. One thing to make a note of is that on the phone, don't get fooled by any price. Now, if they say no again, they're just not interested, then you know what? It's probably time to say thank you for your time and hang up. But before you hang up, maybe just ask in a different way. And I'll say the whole track in a second, but what I mean by asking in a different way is just say, I was just curious if you knew of anybody else thinking of buying or selling. Of course, they don't like their neighbors, and they say, oh yeah, I called the Joneses next door. But anyways, I'm just kidding. So this is how the track would go. Hello, Mr. Smith. This is Dwayne Groom. By the way, use your own name. This is Dwayne Groom from ABC Realty. Just wanted to know if you're thinking of selling your home. No? Well, the reason I called is we just listed a home across the street from you. Would you consider selling if you got the right price? No. Okay, thank you very much. Oh, by the way, do you know of anybody else that's thinking of buying or selling either now or in the near future? No. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Simple as that. Make your next call. Now, if you get a weak yes in there, or if you get a yes, next week I'm going to show you what to do. So a question for you. What do you do if they ask, how much is my home worth? Or do you have a buyer? Your answer should be this. I don't know. I haven't seen your house yet. Let's get together. It's just like this. What if they say, how much are your commissions? What do we say then? No, we don't say commissions are negotiable. We use the same answer. We say, I don't know. I haven't seen your house yet. Let's get together. What if they say, how fast can you sell my house? You know the answer to this. What would you say? I don't know. I haven't seen your house yet, right? Because here's the key. Houses are like people. It's what's inside that counts. So that's it for lesson 1. What I'd like to do is take a few minutes just to go over your weekly activity so you can stay on track. And again, I want to show you how to make the most money in the least amount of time so you can have a lot of fun. So this is what I want you to do. Number 1, I want you to go to the office early, like 9 a.m. That's what top producers do. And prospect a minimum of 5 days a week. Number 2, book at least 3 listing appointments per week. See, that's something we can do. We can at least book the appointments. You might get somebody who cancels. Right now, I'm focusing on booking the appointments. So when you come to class next week, I'm not talking about attending them yet. By the way, if they want you to come, make sure you go. But I just want to make sure you book those appointments. It creates incredible habits for you. Number 3, keep track of your production on your program production page A7. Now, page A7, make a note of this. A7 is something that you don't need to hand in. You don't need for me to see it. It's just to keep track of all your listings, your buyer contracts, your sales, and your listings that sell. And then you're going to add up dollar volume and transactions, which is going to help you keep track of everything throughout the whole program. Number 4, what I do want you to do is make sure that you bring in your completed weekly report, page A6. Have it signed by your broker or manager. You know what? If you have more accountability in your career, the more money you're going to make. Bring it in and hand it to your assistant team captain no later than 9:30 a.m. If you think you're going to be running a few minutes late, please fax it in to your assistant team captain the night before. This way we can proceed without any interruptions for each lesson. Number 5. Put together a sphere of contact list and add a minimum of 25 names. Now, we're going somewhere with this. I'm going to show you how you can keep in touch with these people. So make sure you put in the effort. I always say this, at least if you try. Don't be somebody that says, I can't come up with the 25 and not try at all. At least try. I'd rather see you fall short than not try at all. Number 6, set a short-term reward, like 8 weeks or 2 months. Create a visual, date it, the number of listings. Remember across the bottom what you want to put that you're committed to your success. Laminate it. Bring it to class next week. So I want to see it. I want to make sure everybody has it. In fact, I'm going to get everyone to hold it up and say, here's my goal. I'm excited. Now, there's always a few people in the class that, they just say, I can't come up with anything. I can assure you that this is almost the most important thing. I would prefer if you called me, talk to me in class, talk to somebody on your team, whatever it takes to make sure that we have a goal that's a reward for you. Number 7, schedule a minimum of 1 free day off this week. Yes, that means no pager if you use those, or no cell phone, or no texting device, your phone, whatever it is. Let somebody else take care of your business just for 1 day. We have to be able to recharge. And second of all, family is extremely important. You need to spend some time with them. Number 8, Listen to Lesson 1 CD, that's this CD right here, at least 3 times. You know what? There's something to be said about repetition. It starts to really sink in. And I want to go over something real quickly when it comes to that. There's 4 kinds of realtors that I talk about in my classes, and this I might repeat a few times, but listen to this. The first kind of realtor, I believe, is somebody who's unconsciously incompetent. That's somebody that doesn't even know that they know nothing. You know what I'm talking about. I remember the first time I got into real estate, I was just so excited. I remember seeing the successful agents, the 10% that make 90% of the money. And I remember looking at them thinking, oh, I'd like to be like that. So I get my real estate license, I get into the business, and I'm thinking, oh, this is just awesome. And then, you know what? I don't even realize at first that I didn't know nothing. So then I start to try and do a few things, and things aren't working, and I become what I call consciously incompetent. And that's where I started to realize that I needed help. I realized that I didn't know what I needed to know to be successful. And I went and started talking to top producers and my broker, and I kept saying, what do I need to do? And they'd say, you know what, you need some training. And you could be directed to the program like this or any other training programs out there. And once you get involved and you're committed, and you start learning, then you become what I call consciously competent. That's where we're heading with you right now. You start to learn what you're supposed to do. Now, the key is this. Sometimes people know what to do, but they just don't do it. So there's commitment involved and motivation. My goal is this. By the end of the 2 months, that you are an unconsciously competent agent. In other words, you start doing things and you don't even have to think. It just becomes a part of you. By listening to CDs over and over, by being committed and coming to the class week after week, certain things will just rub off on you. In fact, you'll be on a listing appointment sometime, and you'll say something, and you'll go, where did Dwayne come from? And you'll realize it was you. So good job. Number 9, just for this week, you're able to refer someone to the program and bring them next week. They can still join the program. After week 1, or let's say the beginning of week 2, it would be too late. So feel free to call me or bring someone next week. So as I said at the beginning of this taping, welcome to one of the most rewarding and challenging real estate sales programs in North America. Have a super week.